Good afternoon, everyone. This is our first asynchronous class in Cell and Molecular Biology or Sci 3217. So allow me to share my screen. Ayan. Since we have already discussed the different endomembrane organelles, we will also be discussing how the proteins are being transferred to or transported from the ribosomes up to being secreted outside of the cell. And how are the other molecules from outside of the cell being taken in to the cell? So in this discussion, I will show you a simplified view on where proteins go. So I think this is taken from Khan Academy. So we have already discussed um, the central dogma of molecular biology, in which the DNA is being read or coded, diba? In transcription to form the mRNA. And this happens in the nucleus. And then, so here are DNAs. Wait lang ha, I'll just the pointer or the laser pointer. This one, the DNA. And as a form of review, diba, the nuclear membrane is a double phospholipid bilayer. So this one line here is actually a bilayer, as you can see. And then there are two of them. So that's why it's double and bilayer. So when the DNA is already being read, diba, by the RNA polymerase to make the mRNA, so it will go out. And the mRNA, which is the yellow one, will go out through the nuclear pore and then go to the ribosome. This ribosome here is actually a free ribosome. So why is it free? It is because it is not bounded um, or attached to the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So when compared to the other ribosomes here, these are attached ribosomes, right? In here, the mRNA is being read by the free ribosomes. And then when these are read or translated, diba, in the free ribosome, and now we're making a chain of polypeptide. And then this chain of polypeptide, or let's say the protein, ready-made protein, this is not able to be secreted or it cannot go out of the cell because it is not coated in a vesicle. So these naked, ibali ng mga proteins are just being sent to the nucleus if the nucleus needs these kinds of proteins or polypeptides, or to the mitochondrion, or to the chloroplast, or any other part of the organ or any other organelle of the cell. So what about the mRNA strands that are being sent to the attached ribosomes? Attached ribosomes again are those ribosomes that are embedded, di ba? Half, half naman onto the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Yeah. So the mRNA strand is also being translated to form polypeptide chains. Usually, these polypeptide chains are not yet folded properly. So that's why they go into the lumen. When you say lumen, it is in the inside of the endoplasmic reticulum. So here is a zoomed in na illustration of the endoplasmic reticulum. So this is the endoplasmic reticulum lumen, the inside, kibalik, of the endoplasmic reticulum. And this is the outside of the endoplasmic reticulum. So which means this is the cytosol. Okay? So remember that the endoplasmic reticulum, its membrane is still phospholipid bilayer. See? The phospholipid bilayer pa rin siya. So meron tayong dalawang pangalan niya. Naka-opposite na naka-opposite na orientation. Ang isang layer of phospholipid and another layer of phospholipid. Actually, the mRNA does not go into or inside the rough endoplasmic reticulum. It is just situated here in the cytosol. Okay, it's outside the endoplasmic reticulum membrane, and it is being read in this outside portion of the ribosome that is being attached in the endoplasmic reticulum. While the translated polypeptides that are not yet in its adequate or final form or foldings um, is collected or accumulated in the endoplasmic reticulum lumen or ER lumen. So in other words, inside the RER or rough endoplasmic reticulum. So while it's inside, there are actually a lot of different pa na mga pangalan yan, processes in order for the um, polypeptides to be transported um, to the Golgi apparatus. But since para siyang in-depth na siya na discussion, so I already na lang, kinuha ko na lang or parang dinisregard ko na lang kasi hindi naman needed na like in a mechanistic talaga na discussion yung pag natin ng um, transport of proteins in and out of the cell. Okay. So, if the polypeptide is now ready, okay, pangalan yan, to be transported to the Golgi apparatus, it will form a vesicle, this one. Para siyang magpipinch out from the, pangalan yan, from the endoplasmic reticulum. And then go to the, ayan, magpo-form siya ng vesicle, this one, vesicle, to go to the Golgi apparatus. And then, ano yung gagawin ng Golgi apparatus? If fold siya properly, or either lalagyan siya ng other na mga components, like for example, some carbohydrate components, some lipid components, or a new combination of a polypeptide na i-combine sila. So, two different polypeptide chains, ganon. Para maging ready-made na siya na protein that can be used by the cell membrane. Yung like for example, pwede siyang maging membrane protein, or it can be excreted outside of, or secreted pala, outside of the cells. Ayun na siya. So this one. So meaning, etong nasa labas na or the outside na location na vesicles in which meron na siyang laman na proteins. These are already properly folded na mga proteins. So, this side of the Golgi apparatus is what we call as the cis, di ba? Cis na vesicles. And then this one is the trans. So kung nandito ka na sa trans na portion ng Golgi apparatus, then meaning the protein that is inside the vesicle is already properly folded. So again, not yet ready or hindi pa siya properly folded na proteins must go through the Golgi apparatus. So, magfo-fuse yung vesicle, di ba, ng hindi pa ready na protein to the Golgi apparatus. And the Golgi apparatus will do its magic um, to reshape it, to fold it, something like that, or to add something to it. And then, it will pinch out back again para maging ready for secretion or maging embedded to the cell membrane. Yan. And then actually, yes, um, pwede din na yung mga pangalan niyan, um, properly folded na mga proteins will just stay into the cell um, and just form vacuoles. Or, these proteins, kung yung ginawa na proteins ng Golgi apparatus are actually enzymes, they will fuse with endosomes. Mamaya, makikita natin yung pag-fuse ng vesicle containing um, the enzymes and then the endocytic vesicle. Diba? When you say endocytic vesicle, ito yung endocytosis, diba? Mayroong phagocytosis and pinocytosis. So this vesicle came outside from the cell and then pumasok sa loob and then para ma-degrade yon, kailangan yun ng enzyme. So, kadto siya nga enzyme, mo fuse ato with the endocytic vesicle and then forming pangalan niyan, the lysosome. Or actually, kapag kapag yung na-form mo dito na mga proteins inside the vesicle are already mga enzymes, pwede mo na siya tawagin na lysosome. So, yon yung lysosome mag-fuse with the endocytic vesicle and then i-breakdown yan na yung um, pinagosat, uh, pinagocyte mo or pinaitocyte, inocyte, pininocyte na substance para maging simpler na siya na mga components. So, that is the overview of the transport, di ba, of proteins. Starting from its formation, di ba? From DNA to mRNA, then to protein, and then how are proteins being transported to outside of the cell. Pwede rin maging siya, vacuole lang, or pwede rin maging lysosome, or yung pangalan niyan, some other components outside of the cell can also go inside the cell through endosomes. And now let's move on to protein modifications. But before protein modifications, I will just give you a diagram of the review of protein transport. Allow me to share my screen. So where is it? Um, this one. Ayan. So, Kibali, diba, we have already discussed that the polypeptides, hindi pa siya pangalan yan. I just opened the cursor and the laser pointer. So, in the endoplasmic reticulum, hindi pa siya properly folded. So, it can go to the Golgi apparatus through pinching off into a vesicle. Okay? Um, Actually, this is a two-way, di ba, na transport. Meaning, some of the vesicles in the Golgi apparatus can still go back to the endoplasmic reticulum. So like for example, wala na siyang laman and then it needs to go back. So yes, para siyang two-way. And then also, it is shown here that from Golgi, then it can um 'di ba, kapag after the Golgi ng apparatus, meaning it's already properly folded, properly added with other components. So meaning, it can be secreted, 'di ba, to the cell exterior. So pwede na siyang makalabas. And then, after that, ipapakita din natin kung how the lysosome is formed. So, let's say, um, meron kang um, component from outside the cell, diba? This is this plasma membrane or the cell membrane. And then, you will take it inside the cell through endocytosis. Diba? Bulk transport inside of the cell, that is endocytosis. So, when this endocytotic vesicle, ito siya, um, comes inside the cell, it will fuse with the early endosome. So, the early endosome acts like, para siyang traffic, yung junction ng traffic light, parang ganon. Yun yung ano ko saya, bigay ng analogy. So, parang, siya yung mag-aano kung saan pupunta, ganon. Pupunta ba siya sa sa Golgi apparatus? Or magiging late endosome ba siya para maging lysosome? Something like that. Okay. Or magta-transcytosis. So, when you say transcytosis, magawas lagi hakiya after. So, ay, sorry for the waray-waray. Okay. And then, when it fuses with the early endosome, so, pwede siyang maging late endosome. Yes. Or pwede din siya na mag-fuse sa Golgi apparatus. Ayan. Pwede siyang maging late endosome or pwede siyang maging pangalan yan, mag-fuse sa Golgi apparatus. Okay, maybe like for example, yung component mo pala dito sa early endosome na galing sa cytotic vesicle kay needed for um like a component sa another protein that. So like for example, carbohydrate di siya nga need sa imong usa ka protein nga himuon para i-attach like that. In which i-discuss din natin after kung ano yung mga protein modifications. Or pwede siyang maging precursor ng lysosome. So how will it become a lysosome? First, it will just fuse out of the early endosome and then tatawagin siyang multivesicular body. Kay pwede pa man siyang pangalan yan. Hindi pa specified kung saan siya pupunta. So pwede siyang pumunta pa dito sa Golgi apparatus, something like that. Or maging late endosome siya. Tatawagin siyang late endosome when it fuses with the component in the Golgi apparatus na mga enzymes. So the late endosome actually contains, for example lang niya, carbohydrates. Tapos, eto siyang carbohydrates, like for example, starch siguro ni siya. Starch na molecule. And then, mag-fuse siya with the enzymes that is capable for degrading the starch. And then, yun na, dito na magsa-start ang function ng lysosome. I-degrade niya na, i-breakdown niya na, and then, magiging, pangalan yan, magiging simpler na yung, yung sizes. Instead na ano siya, polysaccharide, di ba? So, magiging monosaccharide na lang yung starch mo. Yan, that's it. So, what are the protein modifications? Ayan. So, there are two types. First, we have co-translational protein modification. The second one is the post-translational protein modification. So from the word itself, when you say co-translational, di ba? Parang you already have an idea that it happens during the translation. When you say translation, this is the formation of the polypeptide chain, di ba? In the ribosomes from reading the mRNA. So again, these are modifications happening to the polypeptide while it is being translated. The first is acetylation. When you say acetylation, the first amino acid in the polypeptide chain, which is always the methionine or met, is removed, and in its place, we put an acetyl group. So instead of methionine, mahimo na siya nga acetyl. Second is the post-translational na. So from the word itself, di ba? Translation, so mao to siyang paghihimo sa imong polypeptide, but post, so after the formation of your polypeptide chain. So since it's already after the translation which happens in the ribosome, so meaning the post-translational modification happens either in the endoplasmic reticulum or the Golgi apparatus. So the first type of post-translational modification is glycosylation, meaning you are adding a carbohydrate to a protein. So this is an already ready-made na nga protein which is added with a carbohydrate na chain. This is the carbohydrate. Tapos this is the protein, and then this is the cell membrane. So glycosylation actually happens to proteins that end up being embedded in the cell membrane. So this is important, especially in the identification of different types of cells. Kay kani sila nga mga carbohydrates, they act like antenna, something like that, for the cells to recognize themselves as their own. So, like for example, the ABO blood groups. So lahi-lahi actually o kanang carbohydrate na chain na attached aning mga proteins in the cell membrane of the red blood cells, depending on your blood type. If you are blood type A, B, AB, or type O. So of course, if you're type O, di ba, meaning wala kang ganito na pangalan yan, na carbohydrate na chain. Next is the lipidation. So when you say lipidation from the word itself, diba, you are adding a lipid molecule to a protein, and that protein is going to be attached to the cell membrane. So it occurs in the endoplasmic reticulum and in the Golgi apparatus. So ang lipid, pwede siya nga i-add dito sa ER or dili gani dito sa Golgi apparatus. Specifically sa smooth ER. And then kung dili sa smooth ER, add to siya sa Golgi apparatus i-add. So these proteins are actually embedded into the cell membrane. Pero baliktad ni siya ha. This one is the protein, the green one, while this one is the lipid chain. Okay? So, mura siya og peripheral protein, di ba? So, yung kanina, these ones are the transmembrane proteins. This one is the peripheral protein. We also have phosphorylation. It is the addition of phosphate group and along with dephosphorylation or the removal of phosphate group. Pero usually this is happening in the sodium potassium pump in our, if I'm not mistaken, the nerves, diba? Nerve cells. So, asa na ba to ang phosphate group, phosphorylation. Ang sodium and then potassium pump. Ayan. So, like for example, ang imong ATP, maano man ni siya ka na, this one, this one. Your ATP, mo bind siya sa imong, pangalan yan, um, sodium, potassium pump, this one, the green one. Sodium, potassium pump, tapos, gubon to niya, tong imong ATP, tapos, mo bind tong usa ra ka phosphate group. Yes, this one. Leaving only ADP na lang. Tapos, after that, makaka-release na siya sa sodium outside of the membrane. And then, kung gusto niya mag-add na pod og kanang potassium inside, so mag-dephosphorylate na pod. Meaning, ija na pong i-detach. I-detach ning phosphate na group para mo open up ni siya. Open up ni siya inside na the for example the cell, tapos makasud na ang imong um, potassium nga ion. Yes. Next, we also have methylation. So methylation is actually the addition of methyl group to a protein. So kani siya. CH3, CH3, and then CH3. So this is especially useful in the DNA wraps. So, di ba, we need histones. Histones are special proteins in which yung chromatin mo, doon sila mag-wrap para mahimo sila nga chromosomes. So, these histones need methyl group para mahimo silang more viable to be attached with the DNA. We also have proteolysis. Proteolysis. Proteo means protein and lysis means breaking down something. Sometimes it takes cutting off a portion of a protein in order to activate it. So like for example, zymogens. Zymogens are actually inactivated proteins that require cutting of it for activation. Another example is insulin activation. So you need to cut two portions of the insulin in order for it to become activated. So this one, dinhi nga portion kana siya. So this is an inactivated form of the insulin. Imo na siyang tunghaon. Okay? We also have ubiquitination or addition of ubiquitin, which marks the degradation of a protein. So, kani pong ubiquitination, mura siya og clue or mark of your lysosome to identify that, this protein pala needs to be degraded already. Maybe this is a misfolded protein, di ba? So, kailangan ko to siyang i-take in para i-degrade to siya into amino acids back para magamit for to be recycled naman. So, when you add ubiquitin in a protein, meaning sign na to siya na kailangan na niyang i-degrade. We also have glycosylation and lipidation. These are two post-translational modifications that generally happens to proteins that end up being embedded in the cell membrane. So, ato naman ang i-discuss ni glycosylation and lipidation. Review na pala tayo. Glycosylation and lipidation. Proteolysis, di ba, ang tungaon. Phosphorylation, ang katong ang imong ATP, tungaon siya, kanang mahimo na lang siyang ADP, then ang usa ka phosphate group, i-attach dito sa imong protein para ma-open up siya, either outside or inside, usually outside. Tapos, mag-dephosphorylate, meaning mo-detach na naman ang imong phosphate group para ma-open up na po siya inside and then mo-close dito sa outside. And then methylation, addition of methyl group to the protein para ma-activate ang imong histones, which are needed for the coiling of the chromatid for it to become a chromosome. And then ubiquitination marks the proteins para maging sign that it is needed or like ready for degradation. Okay. So, what happens to misfolded proteins? So, if for example, you have misfolded proteins that have been released from the ER, so will it be able to come out of the cell? Yes or no? So the answer is no. They will fuse with the lysosomes and be destroyed by the lysosomal enzymes. So, pangalan yan. Di ba akong gipakita man kanina how the lysosome is being formed. So, actually, gikan siya sa kanang sa Golgi apparatus, ang gi-produce di ay ato nga protein sa Golgi apparatus kay enzymes that can be able to degrade, di ba? So, kani sila nga mga misfolded proteins, kanon ni siya sa lysosomes, and then ma-degrade na to siya. Ready to be recycled. Ayan. What if you also have pangalan niyan, an old mitochondrion? Or for example, a pathogenic protein. When I say pathogenic protein, this is a protein that is produced by the pathogen that is inside your body. So, how will the lysosome, pangalan yan, have its role in recycling the old mitochondrion or already hindi na functional, dysfunctional na mitochondrion or the pathogenic protein? So, meron lang mag-a-attach, di ba, na mga molecules to that mitochondrion or the pathogenic protein, usually, pangalan niya. Oo, mo nito siya. Para ma-identify siya sa imong lysosome. And then the lysosome will be able to phagocytosize it or take it in. And then, i-degrade na to sila nga is dysfunctional ba na organelle or ang kanang makadaot na protein in order to prevent the like destruction of your cell and also to recycle, di ba? Some usable pa na mga components, usually monomers. Also, wait lang. I can't see. All cell types dispose of obsolete parts by autophagy or self-eating. So, kanisiya, here is an example of autophagy. So, ang imong mitochondrion nga, hindi na siya functional. So, kinain siya ng peroxisome. Tapos, i-degrade na din to siya. So that's the end of our discussion for today. Thank you for listening.